Hello, Scorpios, and good evening. Um, my name is Yuna Klimenko, and I'm from Israel. And basically, this is the first video that I'm shooting. So I just wanted to congratulate you and say thank you for watching. And there's going to be many more. Um, but basically, what I thought would be interesting is to kind of create a series of kind of Scorpio psychology, mindfulness, coaching um, for a Scorpio horoscope sign. Um, I just firstly have to say that I am a graduate of a bachelor degree in interactive communication and a master degree in organizational consultancy and development, and I have mastered in coaching for managers. So aside from that, I've been meditating for like 3 years and participated in mindfulness courses. I um, went out for a silent retreat for 5 days, and I've participated in many workshops and um, kind of like a self-motivation, self-help workshops, let's call it that way, about mindfulness, about like self-development and, creating the life you would like and all this. And so this is my experience. This is my point of view. I'm 29 years old. All that I'll say and share with you would be kind of my view and from my personal experience. I'm not trying to preach or to, um, you know, say something that is valid in experiments. All that my knowledge is from my personal experience and from the books that I read and from, the teachers that taught me. So please take it in proportion and don't think that this is the Bible. So, so first, like, I think that there's a lot of videos out there that, explain about Scorpio and, the point of the sign is that I'm a Scorpio, by the way, forgot to say. October 29, 1987. So I just feel like there is a lot of information about Scorpios, and I always search for new, angles and the more like interesting videos about Scorpio rather than like what is the Scorpio horoscope sign, what is their traits and what they like and who are they compatible with. Like I'm searching for like a bit more deep and a bit more like different angles. So one time we have a family business, a restaurant, and I was there working in the bar, and this guy from America came, and a client. I don't know him, and he came and he was like, we had this kind of chemistry, like not like a sexual way, but just like cool chemistry, and he was redhead, so it was like I don't know, redheads have like this, this vibe. So he came and he was like, hey, and I was like, hey, we had this like weird like customer employee vibe, but it was a good one and it was very funny also. And then like he asked me what I want to do, and I was just studying the mindfulness, and I was thinking of moving to London to do like a master degree, and then open my own company. And he told me like, what sign are you? And I was like, Scorpio. And he was like, oh my God, I have two daughters. Both of them are Scorpio. And you know what? You should do mindfulness for Scorpios. You really need it. Like, you're so annoying and you think that, you deserve everything. And you think that you're so smart and different and special. Like, special is like, like a different word for Scorpio. So first of all, he's so right. And I just feel like it's so funny and so stupid, but at the same time it's so true, because I know that Scorpio from all the signs would be the one that would search for like Scorpio astrology help, and would like consider like, you know, thinking what the stars would say, you know, rather than like practical facts. So I do think that, you know, I was thinking about doing these videos for a long time. It's been like 2 years since I met this guy. And before that, I also wanted to start like my blog and do these. I started a blog and I was writing in Hebrew. But now I'm in this time that I really feel like doing this. Sorry. And so I just, you know, feel like this could be useful. And for me, it has been useful. And I really do see the value of being in the moment, being aware of yourself, and all the things that this Buddhism mindfulness world can offer. So, like, from how I see it, Scorpios do have a very good intuition about a lot of things, but at the same time, this intuition can come from fear. So they're not really right. You know, they would see things like in a very kind of not in an emotional way. Like they're not gonna like be like, you know, like crying about it like Cancer or Pisces, or like someone that is so like, you know, like emotional, like a feminine, you know, emotionless, but more like, you know, from the mind kind of. But it's not the it's not the truth, you know. Like the intuition can be wrong because it's not really intuition, because you're listening to your mind rather than what you really like your inner like wisdom can show you. So basically, I think that there is some kind of way to control it, or to help you see, you know, the real intuition, or to guide yourself to ask the right questions, so you might, you know, get to the right decision in the future. So I think that the best first method I would use would be like Katy Byron's system method, that is called the work. So like I don't really remember everything that she says, but it all starts very simple. So when you're in a situation when you know, need to make a decision or an action, or you're like, you know, thinking about something that is important to you, so I think that the first thing you should do is ask yourself, is it the truth? Like, is this really true? That, let's say, you think that your friend is trying to hurt you intentionally. Okay, so first of all, before you start like, you know, rolling the film and getting into all of this drama and like telling all your friends about it, and they're definitely gonna, you know, reinforce your anger because they're girls, and girls always like to hear like, you know, other shit from other girls, and they'll always like be able to like, they're not gonna tell you like, oh no, I think she's a good girl, like they're gonna be like, yeah, I know. So I think that before you like, because it's very addictive, and you know, it's also very pleasant for you because you get a lot of attention, and you know, you tell the story, so you live the drama, and you feel like you're so right and they're so wrong, and everyone's telling you yes, and then you still feel like shit. So before you go into all this snowball, whatever, I think it's better to really ask yourself, because you know what are the consequences and where it can go to. So kind of like ask yourself, is it really true? You know, like if this person, for example, has been your friend for a long time, do they really want to hurt you? Like, is there a reason that they would like to hurt you? Because I think that in most situations, like a good friend would not intentionally, you know, would like to ruin your day. Okay. So from this, acknowledgement, you kind of understand that, okay, maybe there's something else, okay? And then you kind of, think and research and kind of, think about all the options that can be for you to feel like, like the reasons why would they do it. Um, and then you see that they have been acting strange lately. They have, issues. You've been wrong. They've been wrong. Anyway, you get to more like concrete situations that would enable you to kind of process this whole situation faster without involving other people that don't care about you, that will give you like wrong answers and will lead you hell. And just bad vibes that, at the end of the day, you're going to be fine. So why go through all this shit, So I just think that, Scorpios also are very, it's very important for them to know, like, what is the truth, they always seek the under reason, the depth of the situation, the root of the problem. They're not going to be satisfied with, like, yeah, she's a bitch, like, no, that's not gonna cut it for us. So this is the first tip that I would use. In the sense of like there's a lot of angles that, I can try to start, but I just, gonna go with the flow. So the second thing that I would say that totally helped me was like raise your awareness. That this is the most important thing. Most Scorpions are already aware of themselves, and because awareness starts from being alone, and if you're able to be by yourself and you actually start to enjoy it, then you kind of cultivate this awareness inside of you that makes you feel really comfortable about yourself. When you're, especially when you spend a lot of time alone at home or with yourself or whatever, and you don't really like, kind of cover your eyes and run away to kind of ease the pain and just be surrounded with like your friends or people that are not your friends, that you call your friends because they're, stupid but fun, or not exactly your matching cup, but, you don't want to be home alone tonight, so you think it would be better to go out with them, and then you go out with them and you're like, why did I go out with this person? Like, I didn't even have fun, I wasted my time, like, what the fuck is this? So after you go through this, like, and you are in a situation where you feel kind of comfortable, because you value yourself more, and you kind of like, it's not about hurting other people, it's just you really evaluate yourself and your time, and you don't want to waste it because it's draining. And when we are alone, we're getting stronger. It's like all the terror organizations, like, whenever they're in peace, they're getting stronger. So not that I trying to say we're a terror attack, but you know what I mean. So basically, I think that in order to make better decisions in the future, in order to feel happy long term, and kind of not fall out into this like bad, like self-destructive vibe, which everyone does, but Scorpios, like, because they're so aware and they're so smart, they're like, you could, you can prevent it, so why do you do this to yourself every time? Because you definitely can choose, and you, most of the times, like, you can choose wisely, but like, still, like, this process will help you make your decisions easier. So I think that, when you spend some time and, and you're more aware, then you kind of know the things that really like interest you. Because, a long time I was kind of like asking myself all these questions, and sometimes it just feels like, when I was younger, I was like, why am I not normal like all the other people? And like, just sitting in a restaurant at Saturday at 3 p.m. is like really cool, like I just don't, it's not my thing, and it just took me time, because this was my surrounding, and this was what the thing to do at the age of 23, 4, 5, 6. And obviously today I love restaurants and I go to restaurants, but this is not gonna, nourish my soul or develop me or make me feel like I need to feel value. And, when I sit with people that I don't care about and just kind of socialize, like every opportunity that I have, like some kind of time off, then I'm not nourishing myself and I don't feel good and I don't know why I'm not enjoying it. But all I know is that I'm not gonna lie to myself because everyone else seemed to have like this amazing time and I just didn't. Um, so I was, trying to search for things that I like. So, like I just kind of researched with myself and I understood that music makes me feel much better, and arts and creation and psychology and stuff that I don't know, I just could sit for hours and read. So this is how you know. And I think that it's not, I mean, I think that just developing the things that you like and investing in them would make you alternatively like more interesting, um, like a person, as a, you can bring a value to the table, but at the same time you would also be a little bit um, mystery and like different to a lot of people, and you must stay strong and sure about yourself that you're on the right path and you're not weird, and like don't let that like I don't belong to them vibe like influence you, because some people would make you feel weird because they're not secure and they're not like they don't even know what they like. So they just do what others do, and because they don't have the guts to really like ask themselves, like the whole essence of Scorpios, like the fact that they can ask themselves, like, do I really like something? Do I like this? Like the fact that you are honest enough to say that is totally like strong and brave, and this is like the truth. This is the beginning of the depth that you're looking for. So I think that also today we live in a time where mainstream is not so cool, so it's kind of a bonus. But for me, it happened when I was like 21, so it was a bit strange. Like it was like 8 years ago, and I live in Israel, not in New York, so it was a bit hard. Um, and still today, I feel like the whole journey that I went through was not always easy, and at the same time today I feel much stronger and it's much easier for me to kind of have my opinion, like it just like that's just who I am. It just comes out naturally, where in the past it was much harder to kind of I was like looking around like, okay, like what's their reaction, and now I'm like I just don't care. So obviously it's a part of growing up and everyone goes through this, but I just think that for Scorpios, like because they're so obsessed with the truth and knowing exactly what happened and why it happened, and when I was young, I was always like playing this game before I was going to sleep. Like I had the thought, and I was like, okay, where did this thought came from? And then I would go back like until I would like fall asleep and go insane. So I just think that this process is not bad, like to kind of question and investigate more and more to get to the bottom would definitely bring you peace. Because when you like, obviously, according to like philosophy and whatever, you can see the world in a lot of angles, but at the end of the day, the story that you tell yourself is the story you believe in, and this would be your reality. So I just found like, because I don't want to lie to myself, it's like when you lie to yourself and you kind of force yourself to believe it, it's not gonna work. You're not gonna really attract what you want to attract. You feel fake and you're gonna have anxiety, and like it's just so the thing that I did that worked for me. So I read a lot of books and I investigated, and I had anxiety attacks, and then I was like looking for more answers, more answers. And at the end of the day, I just, got to this, like, after a lot of investigating, I got to this, like, explanation that sounds like pretty good to me about the world, about why people die, about what, what's my motivation to make money, like, all the big questions, the big stuff. So, because I had to like figure it out, like I have to know, like I have to have my approach to this, because I can't like every time that something happens to go insane and like fall apart. Like it's just not gonna help anyone. So I just think that the the fact that we do ask these questions and we're not running away from this to drugs or whatever, like obviously some people do, but I mean, like Scorpio wants to know the dark. They want to find out really what's going on, and they'll go all the way in order to kind of, like to understand, because they know that after this darkness, it will be easier for them in the future. They will be much more like better with all their difficulties, failures, whatever. So I feel like all Scorpio has this like psychological, like like psychic powers that help them like go through reality, whatever. So I think that you should definitely like deal with all these like big things that really worry us as people, and really kind of try to find your approach to it, and to kind of obviously not lie to yourself, but kind of yes to have this not solid ground, but like some kind of explanation that whenever things would happen, and they will, so you can like not like go insane, like to have some kind of, then you can also question again and again and again, but still it's going to help you deal with things. And I think that having this kind of life ideology, or like rules or whatever that you choose, would help you kind of in anything, because you would think very like thoroughly and like very in depth into a lot of issues in the future. You're just gonna waste your time to kind of every time assess and see like what's going on, what's my opinion about this. Like I would say just take some time. Like it took me like maybe 7 years, okay, but like not like I didn't leave the house, but I was always searching. And after about 7 years, I kind of found this like truth that kind of works out for me, and that leads me and kind of like helps me just understand things that would have me like that I see that I was checking it for a long time, and I saw that it was working. So so this is about the general framework, whatever. About like dealing with things, like still Scorpio has a lot of types, and a lot of people deal kind of have their problems, and like within Scorpios. But I think that the majority of them, from what I've heard, from what I know, from what I read, from what I meet, is that they're very strong, like, and especially women. Like Scorpio women are strong. They do not like to show their weaknesses. They will always be very like, like okay, they're not gonna fall apart in front of you. They're not gonna be like, like weird, and like they're gonna be like proper, elegant. They always are the winners. They always have this like integrity and kind of like sense of like I'm better than you. And I think it's good. I think it's mostly good, and I'm happy that we have that. But this also prevents us from being feminine, because as much as we do like sex and like sensuality, and we're very good in bed, and we're very mysterious, and sexy and blah blah blah. Still, as it comes to relationships, like a woman has some kind of like power that she has to kind of spell, or like show her like vulnerability to men. And Scorpio don't like to do that because they're like feeling weak, and for them it's like the worst. So it's either you don't understand me, or they're gonna chase you for like 10 years to prove to you, because that's the way they understand power. They don't know what it's like to cry in front of someone and be like, uncovering all their emotions and cuddle and like, do you love me? Like, this never happened. And I don't think it should, but sometimes, I mean, not sometimes, but I think that the men like to feel, like they can protect a woman, like this is different than them, because a man does not want to date another man unless they're gay. So they want a woman, they want something different, and we as Scorpios are much more connected to our like masculine side, because it's power, it's drama, it's all these games, it's all this like, I'm smarter than you, and it's it's great at business, it's great as far as like fighting with people and being like inferior, but like, in relationships it just doesn't work, all these games, and you don't really want to be with someone that would appreciate all that stuff. I mean, yeah, obviously, I'm not like saying that in work you need to be like this, but as far as business, when you don't really like get very personal with the person with the other side, and it's annoying to see people that are crying, and you're like, you want to have someone cool, like someone that has it together, that they're always okay, they're never sick, they're always be the best, and like this is good. But in relationship wise, it's like kind of makes the man feel like less of a man. So I think that because we can talk, but again, like I can show my weaknesses, but in a very masculine way that would not be that would kind of like not serve the goal, like I think that I'm being open by talking about my insecurities and blah blah blah, but actually just shows how strong I am, because I'm willing to talk about it, and I talk about it like I don't care. So that's not vulnerability. I mean, as far as relationships, like you need to be a bit more like cute and feminine, and kind of every woman has that. It's not something you need to invent. Like you need to kind of find that within you, and to let yourself kind of show it to the men. So I think that this would be enough for today. I hope that it has been useful information, and I'm not sure about the context of how this program is going to work, but I think that it's more kind of like a general psychology tips for like Scorpio, especially Scorpio women, because I'm a woman. So yeah, so have a great weekend, and that's it. Thank you. Bye bye.